Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Couch Critics. I'm your co-host, Josh, alongside, as always,
It's me, David, or Dave. How you doing, man?
David. Hey, Dave, how's it
David.
going, buddy? Excited for today? We got
Uh,
another awesome interview.
we do. I just feel shitty. Pardon my language. I really liked this book. I didn't finish it. I only got about halfway through so far. I was trying
Yeah,
to go as fast as I could before this, but
yeah.
life's busy,
No,
man.
and
It's hard to find the time.
letting people behind the curtain, we have day jobs, and these interviews sometimes come up really quickly, and there's
Yeah,
not always
zero
time.
dollar this $0 we make from this
Yeah,
doesn't quite pay the
it
bills,
doesn't cover it.
but it fills my heart, and that's
Yes.
value, you
No,
know?
absolutely, absolutely, and I'm about 40 35 40% into the book. I'm a little bit behind you, and I'll finish reading it. I'll probably finish it today. Just
Yeah.
unfortunately
I
not quite there
I'm about
yet.
I'm about 46 percent in. I'm just a little bit better than you.
Just a touch better.
Oh my god,
No,
Mel and I are always we're doing, because we're both trying to lose weight and everything else, and we're counting
yeah,
steps throughout the day. So
yeah.
whatever she says she has for steps at the after
You
work
have
and
one
we
more?
get home, I have
Uh,
one more every single time.
just
That's my
one more.
joke. It still makes
Uh,
me laugh every time.
it's funny. So, but
Anyhow.
like we joke that we don't get paid for this. We do it for the love, and that's absolutely true. However, if ever we get to interview Garrett Graham, I will take a day
Yeah.
off and be
Yep.
prepared for that interview, right?
Garrett Gra or
No,
Matthew Lillard or
Matthew
there's a
Lillard, Devin
handful of people
Sawa.
that.
Yeah,
Yep.
no, Johnny's absolutely worth it. So we will talk about his book, but I highly recommend it. You can just go to your local bookstore and tell them you want The Dummy by Jonny Ward, and they can order it for
Yep.
you. Um,
I think it's on Amazon
it's
too. Yeah.
it's on
Yeah.
Amazon. Yep, it's on Amazon. I believe he mentioned that it's now available online at Barnes& and Noble as well. So, yeah, all over the place. That in our email that I was back and forth with him when we were talking about
Yeah.
planning for the episode, he told me where to find it. But but with
But
that, Dave,
anywho,
what have we been watching?
well, you start. You have a better movie than I do. What have you been
Oh,
watching, my
yeah,
friend?
friend of the show, my daughter Danica and I went on Tuesday night. We decided to go out to the movies, and we went and saw Sam Raimi's new Send Help with Rachel
Oh shit, how
McAdams
is it?
and Dylan O'Brien. And let me tell you, it is really funny. It's very much in the Evil Dead kind of realm as far as
Is
slapstick
Bruce Campbell
humor,
in it?
and Bruce Campbell is kind of in it.
Is his
He's a
car in it?
No, the car's in it. The car's in it. I found it. I saw the car,
I'm
and
sa
I saw
I'm
Bruce Campbell.
satisfied.
So Dylan O'Brien plays the new CEO of a company that was run by his father. His father, it was played by Bruce Campbell. And when I say played by, there's a picture on the wall of Bruce Campbell. And that's it. Just a photo on the
Okay.
wall in the background of the
Okay.
office.
I'll take
So
it. I'll take
Bruce
it.
is in it. It is really funny. I want to. Rachel McAdams is really
She
funny
looks
in this movie.
the trailer, she looks amazing, like, she's killing it out there. Like, the trailer, she looks funny, she looks, like she's leading that movie really, really well. I don't know anything
Yeah,
about Dylan O'Brien,
she's
but
Dylan O'Brien plays the cocky jackass boss, the
yeah,
nepo baby
yeah.
boss, really well. It's really funny, but
Yeah, I think
it's good.
the trailer starts with him basically telling her that she doesn't have any worth to the company, something like that, right? Like, that's the idea, is that he's like, "I'm the new punk kid boss, and you've been here
Hmm.
for whatever long, and we don't value you here, so I
Yeah,
think you say they're gonna let you go or something," and then they
yeah,
go on a trip together, something like that, and
yeah.
then
So
they,
in the
basically crash land in an island and, by themselves.
yeah. The movie starts off like the very beginning of the movie basically tells you that she was like the right hand to Dylan O'Brien's dad. As the original CEO, she was the reason,
Okay.
she was like the glue that ran the company, and he was getting ready
Right.
to promote her to VP. He dies. So instead of her getting promoted to VP, Dylan O'Brien is going to promote his frat buddy from college over
Okay.
her instead of her. She's very dowdy. She's very like just poorly dressed, oily hair, not the Rachel McAdams that we know from Mean Girls or anything else. She just has this very frumpy look about her.
It
And
sounds like the movie I watched recently. A friend of the show, Hannah, one of our listeners, told me to watch Demoted, and I think we
right.
talked about it from
Yeah.
2011. Not that like great, it's okay, but
Yeah.
basically the same kind of concept is some
Yeah.
asshole basically takes over the
Mhm.
company, and
But
anyway,
she
Hannah.
grows a pair, she storms into his office and basically lets him know that she deserves the position and all this. So he throws her a bone, as it were, by letting her come on this trip to Asia with the VPs and and himself to go try to
Okay,
close a merger. And it's on that trip that the plane crashes and they end up on
and
the
it's
island.
just them on an island, right? There's
Just
no
them on an island. Just them
okay.
on an
I
island,
don't want to know
and,
everything.
oh, something that it tells you right at the very beginning of the movie, she is like the Survivor TV show super fan. Like, in during the credits, it's scrolling over all of the books on her
Okay,
bookshelf, and it's how to survive, survivalist, everything. So she knows what she's doing. So you know that in this place, she's gonna be in her element. But I
right.
loved I thought it was really good, it was really funny. It definitely has, those little underlying, an underlying message that it tells really well without being heavy-handed. Yeah, it's funny. I definitely
It looks
recommend it, definitely
Yeah,
recommend it.
it looks really good. It's always weird with January and February releases. We've talked
Yeah,
about that.
yeah.
Sometimes the studios are dumping them because they didn't
Mhm.
like the product at the end of the
Yes,
year. But all kinds of gems and stuff have come out of these
yes,
months. But
absolutely.
you watched a way better movie than I did. Actually, I watched a really bad movie. Now, it's one of those things where you're just kind of running through Amazon or whatever, and I just happened to stumble across something that I've never even heard of, if I'm being completely honest. But it's Hell Comes to Frogtown. Do you know this movie?
I haven't watched that movie in so long. I'm a big
You
Rowdy
you
Roddy Piper fan.
Me too. You
Yeah.
actually know the movie.
I know the movie. I remember so I watched it back in the Blockbuster days because I loved They Live, and
Yeah,
they
way
said,
better
"Oh,
movie.
you should watch this. It's campy like They Live." Needless to say, the person that
No,
said that is no longer in my inner circle of movie recommenders because it's
yeah.
awful. Yeah, it's not a good.
And the general idea is a post-apocalyptic society, which, by the way, Mel and I have been watching Fallout. I am a big fan of that show. It's fun to watch. I think some of the details and things like that are fun. I don't play the game, but I do enjoy the show, and that's basically also post-apocalyptic society. So it's weird that this is also kind of fell in that vein. But post-apocalyptic society, and then like the women are running basically everything, and they're just taking the men and using them for seed. Which is probably
Yeah,
what would happen because men are nearly useless with our aggression levels and all those kind of things. It's the man bear thing, right? But anyways, Roddy Piper somehow gets taken by a couple of women, and they put like a chastity plate on him, some electronic thing, so he can't get to his junk, and there's frog people in it, like huge frog, which I only in the trivias that say that the guy made these fairly decent rubber costumes and masks for
yeah,
these actors to do as
yeah,
frogs for like 12 grand. That they only paid him like 12 grand to do this halfway decent
yeah.
makeup and latex work.
Yeah,
But
it's just a
anyways,
really bad
terrible movie.
story. It's poorly acted from everybody, including Roddy Piper.
And
Yeah, it's
Sandal Bergman, right? For
Sandal
who's Red
Bergman
Sonja,
from
also
yeah,
she's the lead in it. Yeah.
who's the evil witch in Red Sonja. Nice call.
Yeah.
I haven't watched. That's another good campy old movie that sucks. Um, anyways, yeah, I have not watched Hell Comes to Frogtown in a very long time. You know what would have made that movie better? Garrett Graham.
Garrett Graham, he would have
Garrett Graham would have
he
made
would
that
have
movie.
elevated it, but I
He
don't
would
think
have.
there's a lot of saving that movie.
No.
I don't know what
Do
you
you
could
think
do.
so do you think, like, is Hell Comes to Frogtown, is the story something that if in the right hands, it could be remade today in a proper way that would save it?
a better writer, and I love Roddy Piper. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
his stuff in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia
yeah.
is hilarious. I love They Live. I even like that really shitty movie, that his first movie, where the one we talked about recently,
Body
the
Slam
wrestling Body Slam with Face from the A
from
Team. Like,
18.
anyways, I'm a big fan, and he's not good in this. I think he didn't like it. And it just came right on the heels of They Live, I think. Like, They Live's
It was
87, I
yeah, it
think.
was real quick, yeah, in succession,
I
yeah,
don't know. I think it could be saved if it was a complete top to bottom rework,
yeah,
but then at that point, then you have, let's just say, the show Fallout. You know, you just have a
right,
completely different
yeah,
product. But, but I think it's funny that they actually, I believe, had an intent on making a bunch of them. This was gonna be a series.
this oh,
The
wow,
Hell Comes to Frogtown 2, and then something, All's Hell in Frogtown, whatever. Like, in the trivia and stuff,
right,
they had a whole
yeah,
series of these planned out about Frogtown. Anyways, no, I don't think there's really any way you could save this movie.
no,
Garrett
this
Graham
is
be damned.
so
I
I
don't think
shouldn't go
even
watch
he
it,
could.
study it, and rewrite it? That's not our
No,
ticket.
no, no, it'd be a giant waste of paper on your clickety clack typewriter. But no,
Because you
anyways,
know
see,
me, I am old school, I do everything on analog.
just like Tom Hanks, same thing. But yeah, anyways, yeah, it's not a whole lot more to say. It was awful. You watched a
Yeah,
great movie that I want to see.
yeah,
And mind you, I wasn't. I like to say that I didn't give it my full attention. I think I was setting up my recording station last night. We were making dinner, whatever else. Like,
yeah,
there were other things
yeah,
happening, so I
going
wasn't
on.
100%. You know, maybe I missed the best part of it. I don't know. It's possible.
I
Maybe
don't know,
there's
did
some
you see the
Oscar-winning
credits?
bit. I
Did you
did
see
see
the
that,
credits? You probably saw
and
the
I see
best
it.
part.
The
You probably
very,
saw the
very end
best
of the
part.
credits, yeah,
Yeah, it was
where
over.
they're over, the whole
It
thing's
was
done.
done. It was done.
So that's the sadness of what I've been watching,
I
I
love it.
suppose.
I love it. All right. Well, you know what, Dave? I think I want to bring Johnny in and talk about his book, The Dummy, and a few other surprises because he also
Yeah,
brought
he
a
picked
guest
a movie.
request for us. Yeah.
He's a big fan. He's a podcaster. He's a horror fan. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No,
He's
I'm
big
excited
in
to
the
talk to him. And
fandom, big Star Wars guy, horror guy. Yeah.
yep.
So
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
bring him
Perfect.
on.
Cool.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to Couch Critics, the show that never stops and doesn't take breaks. And today's guest is Jonny Ward, horror author, genre nerd, and the guy you absolutely do not want making small talk with your vintage ventriloquist dummy. Johnny is the author of The Dummy, a horror novella that takes a classic creepy setup and mutates it into something cosmic, disorienting, and deeply uncomfortable in the best possible way. He was also the voice behind the Nerdyverse of Madness, a podcast that feels like what would happen if a horror panel, a fandom deep dive, and a sleep deprived group chat all collided at once. Currently, it seems it's on a bit of a mysterious hiatus, but we're here to fill the gap with Johnny's live horror energy. Johnny's a storyteller who lives in the overlap of psychological horror, body horror, and cosmic dread, using genre to explore trauma, identity, dissociation, and the slow, terrifying idea of losing control of your own mind. He also proudly wears his fandom on his sleeve: horror, anime, comics, games, kaiju, pop culture. If nerdy and slightly unhinged, he's probably into it. And huge thanks to Brandon from the Terrific Podcast for suggesting we bring Johnny on. We really appreciate you, Brandon. So we're here to talk about horror, craft, fandom, and whatever unspeakable nightmares Johnny currently has in development. Welcome to the show, Johnny. Hello.
Thank you
Welcome.
so much for having me on. And
Yeah.
man, you nailed that intro. I'm impressed. I'm
It's
very
close,
impressed.
right?
All
I
right.
figured it's
Yeah.
close. Good job, Bell.
Yeah,
Good
I,
job.
I do a lot of research for those. So um, but so based on my research, am I to understand you have an almost 2-year-old baby?
I do have an almost 2-year-old baby. I also have a 12-year-old as well. So
Okay.
I'm just entering the beginnings of puberty, which is fun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's
That's
fun, yeah.
exciting. I'm our children are all grown adults, so we
Yeah.
we don't
Yeah.
deal with that stuff anymore.
Yeah. So I
Uh,
have one who thinks he's an adult for sure.
yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what
Absolutely.
happens. That's about the age
Yeah.
for it.
Absolutely. So, Johnny, tell us about you, about your your fandom. I can see behind you, I saw Clown in the Cornfield, big horror book reader, and things like Child's Play. Yeah, lots of stuff going on behind you there. So, tell us a little bit about you.
Oh man, where to begin? As you mentioned, I do love fandom. I do have a particular affinity for horror, but I like all things fandom. I collect. I like anime. I like sci-fi. Big collector. This is just my horror book collection for the most part. Some of it,
The Judy Blume collection's on the other side, right? And the
yeah,
Ramona books and all that
yeah,
stuff.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Ramona
also
and
show that.
Jesus.
I feel that it kind of crushes the whole atmosphere that I'm trying to create with my brands. So,
Good call.
Absolutely.
Good call.
I get it. I get it.
but yeah, I love thrifting, and for the most part, I can find tons of books. This is just a small portion of it. Most of them are kind of sitting over the corner there. I love to collect, much to my wife's detriment. Um, yeah,
It's awesome.
Awesome.
You can get a lot of hidden gems thrifting. So
Yes,
I've
you
gotten
can.
some of the best. Well,
Absolutely.
originally VHS tapes. I used to find
Yeah.
really good underground VHS tapes, but now they're useless unless somebody wants a
they're
paperweight.
they're not useless. Actually, it's making a resurgence. I made about
VCRs? Wow.
yeah, oh, I made about $8,000 thrifting VHS tapes last year,
Really?
selling
I
them on
shouldn't have gotten
eBay.
rid of
Way to
No,
go.
you should not have.
There goes your retirement, Dave.
I know. Damn it. I had a
Yeah,
bunch of
if
screener tapes and
if you're that's the stuff that people want, like screeners, anything that's kind of limited edition. So there's a small print run. Horror is always a big one, but a lot of the later VHSs. So like if you can find a copy of Mean Girls, that's a pretty valuable one. And History of Violence was the
yeah.
last
'Cause of the last
official
VHS,
VHS ever
yeah.
made before the full switch to
Really?
DVD. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. What year was that? 2008?
I think it might have been. I think it was more like 2004, 2006.
Okay. Still, DVDs were
History of
well into the
Violence
culture
came
by that
out in
point. That's amazing.
2005. So it would have probably been 2006 because the
Well, I
movie
was
came out in '05. Yep, you're right there.
yeah.
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 Well, that's so now I gotta go through I have this whole case of VHS. I need to start scanning barcodes and see what they're worth and maybe get rid of some.
I worked in video for a couple of years, and so I have all these boxes
Yeah,
of screener
we
tapes.
both did.
I got rid of a lot of them because
Me
people
too.
would like
Me
stuff,
too.
and I'd be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, take it." You know, you can put it
Yeah.
on
Get
your
it
shelf.
yours.
I guess I should have thought about that.
Yeah, that's
Who
called
knew?
I love it. So your fandom, I noticed on your when you were doing the podcast, there's a lot of Star Wars. Where do you land in the Star Wars fandom? Do you consume all of it, or do you have certain
There's a lot, right? There's a
There's a
lot
lot.
of it.
Every single piece of Star Wars content I consume. I love the
Yeah.
original trilogy, and not just the original trilogy. I like the prequels and the sequels too. I love all of it.
Yeah, you just love it all.
Yeah.
And that
So
was my
you're
misquote
excited
of
for
Anakin saying how he slayed
Yeah.
all the
Oh,
Tusken
yeah.
Raiders.
So you're gonna be at the theater for Mandalorian and Grogu? Grogu?
100%.
Awesome.
I'm very excited
it.
that Kathleen Kennedy has stepped down. I'm not one to trash people, but I'm very excited to see the route that Dave Filoni's going to take for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to see an early trailer for it I do this thing called DIO where you get to see early commercials and trailers for things. And I saw that Sigourney Weaver is going to be in it, but it didn't give you any idea as to what her role is. But Sigourney Weaver was in the
Really?
short trailer. Yeah. So whatever
Oh,
that means.
I'm very excited. I love
Yeah.
her so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just started showing my kid like the original Aliens. We're doing all the Predator movies
Yeah,
too.
Such great
classic.
movies. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Such
Have
great
you seen
movies.
the new Predator movies at all? Have you
I
seen Prey or
I
Badlands?
will
I have
I
not.
will be. I watched the animated one that came out, and I plan to watch
Okay.
Prey and the other one that was just in theaters. I lost the name, but Badlands. Badlands.
I just
plan on
watched it
watching
last
them
night.
both. Yeah.
Is it good?
Prey. Oh, it's phenomenal. Prey is honestly, if it wasn't for nostalgia, I might rank it a little bit higher than the original. It is
Really?
a phenomenal movie, and Badlands was just up there. It's very different. It's a very different type of story, but they're really tying it in with the Alien universe now that Disney
Mhm.
has the rights for it,
Yeah.
and
Right.
it's fun. It's fun
Does
for
it
sure.
incorporate the things that we learn in that animated Predator? Like,
I haven't
or
finished that. I
wi
only watched the
oh,
first one. I think that
the
kind of stands alone a little bit, but
yeah. There's there's just some hidden things in their storage bay, towards the end of because
mm.
it's 3 separate stories that all come together or whatever. Anyways, yeah, sorry, not to get too Predator nerdy, but I
Did you
love
just
Predator.
spoil something, Bell?
No, no, I
Just
I
kidding. I'm just
alluded to
kidding.
something that you find out at the end that
There
has
you go.
no bearing on the story itself. I did
I
it
don't know.
on
I haven't
purpose.
seen any of them, so
All right,
apologies.
but the reason that we had you on, you've got this new book. Is the book out, and is it available to purchase already, or is that coming soon?
It is out as
It is
of
out.
December 31st. It was available on Amazon, and then February 2nd, you can get it everywhere else. So Barnes and Noble, Indigo, you can order it all on.
Yeah. All right. So the book, it's called The Dummy by Jonny Ward. And did I read this right? That it's actually, is
There
it
you go.
self-published?
It is self-published, yeah.
Yeah, because I saw that it was like the nerdy verse of Madness Media is
Yeah,
the
I threw that on the back. Yeah, that was
yeah.
an official company I registered so I can write off
Yeah,
podcast stuff, equipment
Yeah.
that I buy and stuff like that.
sure.
So
Oh yeah,
I just kind of
absolutely.
keep it on there. Yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
really like the self-publishing route. It's definitely not for everybody, and I mean, there's a lot of still a little bit of prejudice from what I've seen. Because back in the 80s and 90s, if you self-published, it was simply a vanity project. But
Yes.
Right.
it's kind of, especially for horror, like it's so easy to do nowadays. I come from a punk rock background, so DIY is kind of second
Yeah,
nature for me, and
sure.
it just seemed like the right thing to do.
Absolutely. I
Yeah,
love it.
less interference, and you have more
Yeah,
control of everything, which is
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And then
And I
and
don't think I'll ever really write anything that's, I don't know if safe's the right word, but safe for mass consumption.
mainstream.
right. It's all gonna be
You're not going
niche. Yeah,
mainstream.
Yes. Yeah.
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 So you
Right.
so you didn't do like the free ISBN through Amazon. You purchased your ISBN, so you maintain all ownership and
Well,
or
actually, I didn't purchase it because in Canada where I live, ISBNs
oh
are free.
oh
But,
see, you can get a free
yes.
ISBN through somebody in the US. You have to pay $125 to individually get an ISBN.
Yeah,
So
so
I
in
need to publish
Canada,
my
you just have to
I need a
register.
PO box. I need a Canadian PO box to publish my book.
Yeah, I mean, it'll help you. There's a bit of a long waiting period, which I didn't realize. I was getting ready to go, and it took about a month because it is run by like a government agency that deals with the Canadian Library, which I didn't know. So almost 32 days it took for me to get an account. But once the account's been approved, like I could go make 72 ISBNs right after we were done this show, and it
Oh,
wouldn't cost
all
me a
right.
dime,
Well,
which
that's
is pretty
cool.
Wow.
cool.
Wow. Yeah,
Bill, are you asking for his address so you can register yours?
so I can
Is
register
that what you're
so I
asking
can
about?
register Real Talk Publications through in Canada. Where about in
Yeah.
Canada are you?
I am in Barrie, Ontario, which is an hour-ish north of Toronto.
You're our second consecutive Canadian guest.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
Yeah.
am actually familiar with John. I just
Yeah.
haven't listened to the episode yet, but
Yeah.
yeah, we connected over Facebook about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Awesome.
Hey,
Yeah,
he's a good
he's
dude. It's a good
really good
interview.
guy. Yeah, we enjoyed him a lot. He was awesome.
Yeah,
So
he actually sent me a message on the Facebook page that I didn't even know was live from my podcast um, page, and he was requesting a guest spot, and he was like, "I just published my debut novella." I'm like, "Well, this podcast is dead, but I love Hobo with a Shotgun. I'm
yeah,
Canadian, and
right?
I just published, so
Yeah,
let's have
yeah.
some conversations." So we're always kind of shooting
Yeah,
ideas back and
back and
forth,
forth.
and
Sure.
kind of keeping each other accountable for our journey.
That's awesome. I love it. So so Johnny, tell us your elevator pitch, your premise. What is the story of the dummy for the audience?
Ooh, the elevator pitch.
It doesn't have to be a true
Well,
elevator pitch. You can take as much time as
Yeah.
you like. This is a long elevator.
30 seconds and the time starts. I'm just
Starts.
kidding.
Well, the main character, Walter, is walking home from work one day and he finds a ventriloquist dummy on the side of the road. He had always wanted a ventriloquist dummy. It's a childhood dream fulfilled, and he takes it home. And can I curse? Shit gets
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets
Shit does
weird.
get weird.
It
Especially for him.
and
A lot
it
of
does
time lapse, time loss, and
yes.
yeah.
And it does not take long for shit to start getting weird. Like it's basically immediately. Because he hangs
Again,
up with
I'm only
yeah.
I'm only halfway at this point, which is unfortunate. I wish I had finished the book, and I will after this. But it felt like things were getting progressively. Like it starts off small, like little, like, well, that doesn't seem right, and then kind of gets a little bigger. Like, well, that definitely isn't right, and then you know what I mean, like a progressiveness that I'm expecting to pay off a lot more as the second half of the book unfolds.
Yeah.
That's my guess. But anyways.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Things
yeah.
get worse as usually when things are going bad, they tend to get
Snowball.
worse and worse as things go on. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Snowball. I like yeah. So what I've gotten through, there's definitely been some lost time because obviously he talks to Lauren and then immediately she's at the door, right? So the time is already starting to slip away. But there's a lot of reference in that very beginning to things like Goosebumps. Is that your kind of were the Goosebumps novels, the R.L. Stine stories, was that kind of your entry? Was that your gateway into horror as a kid or?
Absolutely. I was born in 1990, so things like Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark were very
Yeah.
prevalent in my life. I was easily scared. Like the theme song for Goosebumps often was enough to like really creep me out.
Give you
But
chills.
when it came to actually watching the episodes, they didn't freak me out except for the Night of the Living Dummy episodes. And I
Yeah.
did really draw from my experience with that, and I did practice ventriloquism for a very short while there
Did
too.
you?
I
Yeah.
did, not very long. I actually had a little rubber Goosebumps puppet. It was the hamster from the Monster Blood 2 cover, I think. It's just a rubber one. I'd check out books from the library, and I was like, I'm going to be a ventriloquist, and that lasted for like a month, maybe.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's not a second career then. It's something you're going to
No.
continue to pursue.
No.
Write about it instead.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Is this your first book then?
It
Or-
is. When I was in the 6th grade, I actually wrote a Star Wars story for some project. I don't even remember what happened in it, but my teacher was obsessed, and she was like, "Oh, you're a great writer. You should be a writer. You got to be a writer." And then again in the 8th grade, I had a teacher who was like, "You got to do it. You're a great writer." And I always had it in my mind that I'm going to write. I'm going to be a writer. But it's so bizarre that to be a writer, you actually have to sit down and write in order for that to happen. So until
That's good advice.
so I had always dabbled, like I'd start a story, but I got really, really bad ADD, so it's very easy for me to kind of just jump from
Lose track.
hyper focus. Like if I were to show you all the collections I have, you can kind of tell that
beginning
I'm like,
of
"Ooh,
stories.
here's a go."
Yeah.
But something in me last year was just like, sit down and write, and I puked it out in about 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, and then that was that.
Reception seems to be good. I did a little digging, and like it seems like it's got some good reviews. Not just ours, but like the mass public, right?
Yeah, I mean, out of 7, I think I was looking at it yesterday. I have 71 reviews, and only 2 of them are below 3 stars. I mean, not every indie author considers 3 a good review, but I think there's books that I really like that I rate a 3, and the feedback has been great.
Yeah.
Which is bizarre to me because it was always just this idea in my head, and I don't know if I'm ever going to get used to people being like, "Oh, I really like this." I'm like, okay.
Okay. Yeah. So when I rate a movie or a book, if I give you a 3, it's because I thought it was good. it didn't quite 5 is the pinnacle of greatness, right? You can't get better than that. So
Yeah.
3 is 2.5 is middle of the road. You're above middle of the road. You're in the good realm. Like, I don't understand why people
There's
think
enough
3 is necessarily a bad
there's enough extremes on the internet where everybody's either
Yeah.
5 or a 0. You're
Yeah.
Yeah.
trash or else you're amazing, and, like,
You're
you
either
they don't even understand those extremities. They're just
nuance. Yeah.
working with they only have
Yeah.
2 numbers in their head.
Yeah, and I was part of a kinda like the Instagram Bookstagram review side of things for a
Mhm.
while, so I had a bit
Yeah.
of a following doing that. So I did know a lot of people. I'm like, "Oh, they'll probably like this. I can send it their way." But there is a very niche amount of people on there where, like, especially if it's indie authors, they're like, "You absolutely do not review it less than 5 stars. They depend on it." And I'm like, just be honest, give me a review. Like the 2 stars I got, they were great reviews. They're just like, "Oh, this isn't really my cup of tea, but I
Yeah.
think
Right.
somebody else will like it."
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
honestly,
Like,
even if I get a shit review, like I don't care. I wrote the story for myself. I'm happy with
yes.
it. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. I've
Yeah,
done some yeah.
similarly, Bell and sorry to interrupt you, Bell. Similarly, Bell and I always said we were having these conversations anyways, which this is the whole impetus for this thing in the first place. And basically, if anybody, which my wife loves them, like we have a handful of people who listen every week, and that's fantastic. That's all I can ask
Love it.
for.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
I'm doing this for us as much as
In
anything
the
else.
end,
It just
yeah, this is for us to look back and say, "Remember when we did that?" It's for
yeah,
us.
because we've been
But
doing it for 30 years just without microphones.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
And
I mean, when
so
you're creative, if you have something that you really wanna do and you just kinda let it
yeah,
sit inside you, I find it can kind of fester and you
Yeah,
can kinda feel a little bit of regret. But once you get out there
yeah,
and do it, whether or not anybody likes it, doesn't really matter. You did it.
yeah. There's satisfaction in actually completing something that you've been thinking about or working
yeah. So I do have a question on your writing process. When you're writing this, because this book obviously goes pretty dark.
Mhm.
Did you know when you outlined it, did you know all the places this was gonna go, or did the writing take you down some darker roads? Because there's some dark stuff in here, right? I mean, it's dark
Yeah,
enough that you put a disclaimer right at the top of the book.
yeah, I like to do that. I think horror I think it's fun to kind of go a little extreme, have some dark stuff, but I think you can kind of explore certain aspects of yourself. I mean, everybody I know that's a horror creative has a little bit of trauma somewhere, and it kind of creates a safe space to kind of explore that. But when I plot something, I know people who will write down every detail and a list and have everything that they're going for. I tend to have an idea for a story and then I'll write a few jot notes down, one to five, one to six. And then I can kind of know if it's going to be a longer story or shorter story. I do like to kind of have an end in mind, just kind of to move myself towards this. But what I thought was gonna happen in this story, and you neither of you are there at that point, so I can't really touch on that, but there was a certain plot point that I thought was going to happen, and as I kind of grew and understood the character a little more, the character was kinda speaking to me in the back of my head, which sounds odd, so
no, I
the
get that.
the the character was telling me something, I was like, "Okay," and I kinda pivoted, and I do touch on that in the author's note of the at the end of the book. Um, I like to have a goalpost, but I kinda will free ball it if the story requires.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Let the characters write themselves with the story, the arc. It's good to have that. I think. I mean, I'm not a real writer or anything, but I mean, we've all written stuff. I've been writing stuff since I was a kid, but I always struggle with third act, and then wrapping things up. I always have. I've always struggled with that end. I might have a general idea of how I picture the end, but I always the nuts and bolts of putting that together. I don't want to say get bored. That's not it. But I think I hit that wall right there and I just stop and
Yeah.
then I go to something
Yeah.
else because I like
No,
writing the beginning. I like exposition. I like talking about where they are and you know what I mean? Those kind of things.
Building up the characters and
It's
stuff like
smart,
that.
like I said, to have that point that you're working towards, even if it's vague enough. You know what I mean? Just something that probably would help me, I
Yeah,
guess, a lot.
my current work in progress right now, I'm just entering the third act. I'm about 25,000 words in. I think it's going to end around the same as the dummy, 2830. And I kind of knew the middle of the third act, but I didn't know like the end, like how I was going to just tie the knot on the
Wrap
end of that
everything.
story. And
Yeah.
as I got into like 23,000 words, it just came to me. So now I'm
go.
sprinting to the end of that story.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
and
What's
I'm
your new
sim
what's your new work? Can you talk
oh, yeah.
about it or
I
do
do
you
talk
wanna?
about it in the epilogue. It's funny enough, I actually mentioned the title in the epilogue. I wrote
Okay.
that a while before I actually published it, and then people were asking me, I'm like, "Well, I'm keeping the title of it a little bit secret." And then I had one of the reviewers be like, "What's the name of your next one again? I know you mentioned it in the epilogue." And I was like, "I did?" And
You
I
did?
pulled the
Oh,
copy out and I flicked to the
yeah.
end. I'm like,
Uh,
Oh, yeah.
"Oh, I
yeah.
Yes, you
did. I
did.
did."
Yeah.
It is called Mischief because that's what you call a group of rats.
Mhm.
It's a little bit of feminine rage involving starving cocaine dosed rats that
Alright.
dispose of pedophiles and rapists.
That sounds
Okay.
like my kind of book.
Yeah, I'm
You
having a
had
lot of
David
fun with it.
Cocaine.
Yeah. I didn't really do any ventriloquism, but I definitely did some cocaine back in the day. Just kidding, but not
Uh,
really. I'm a little
so
bit serious.
something I saw on the internet is, because obviously I have not read the epilogue yet, but I guess there's reference to another series at the end of this. Is that true? Are you linked? Do you want this to link to a greater world out there, a greater universe?
A li- a little bit. Yeah, yes and no. In 2023, when I started reviewing books on Instagram, I came across an ad from a Canadian author who was like um, offering free books for um, honest reviews, and I was like, "Hey, I'll take however many books you want to give me." And he sent me all 6 of them. I have them. Oh, they're just out of screen there. The author's name is Tobin Elliott, and I blew through his series. I fell in love with his books. He was actually the first interview I did on my podcast. Is to this day said that I'm his biggest fan, and I really loved the stories and the connection. There's a little bit of a cosmic connection to both of her stories. And as a nod to him, I had this character kind of pop up, and it's not particularly connected. Like I don't think I'll ever directly connect it. It was just something it goes to. And I asked him if I could mention a couple things, and he said, "Yeah, go for it." And he was my beta reader. He loved the story. He sent me feedback. He was like, "I like the epilogue." He's like, "I am worried that you may disconnect some of your readers. So if you have another option, I'd love to hear it." But it goes back to what I was saying that I came up with that idea. I actually I got to chapter 4, I think, where I had the idea for the epilogue. I wrote it out and was just going towards that. And if people are disconnected, that's fine. I don't care because I wrote the story that I wanted to hear and I was happy
Sure.
with it. But
Yeah.
it's just an indirect connection. I don't know if I'll ever explore it more, but there is a bit of an Eldrick connection.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, it's just something I saw online. I was wondering, do I need to know this other series? Do I need to
Absolutely
understand?
not.
Do I need to
And
okay,
I'm just
no,
kind of
yeah,
I also kind of wanted to point people towards that book
towards
series
something
because
else.
he reading that really kind of inspired me to write again. And he lives in Oshawa, so near Toronto as well. He taught creative writing for 30 years, and he was just a plethora of knowledge. I picked the crap out of his brain, and he just
Yeah,
helped me with everything. So
that's
it was
Yeah.
awesome.
a kind of a subtle nod to him as well.
Yeah,
Yeah. And if nothing
for
else, you
sure.
get it. and he
Yeah.
gets it. And that's enough right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I obviously haven't finished the book, but will. From the sounds of it, though, I don't understand. I can't imagine that a slight nod to another series in the epilogue is going to disconnect me from the journey I just went on. So, especially when it's something just like this, it just means we're in a cosmic universe and there's some overlap. If it is only
Yeah, and
three paragraphs at the
whenever
end.
you deal with kind of uh, Lovecraftian things, like, is time really linear? Is universe really
Yeah.
linear? It's all ambiguous, and you know,
Hmm. Yeah. Absolutely.
and the story
Absolutely.
does come to an end. I mean, there's the potential that I could open up something else, but the story is very contained, and the epilogue isn't going to be like, well, what happens now? I do leave questions. I did go with
Sure.
a little bit of an ambiguous ending, but
Mhm.
for people a little familiar with the lore, there's enough clues in there that you might
Yeah.
figure out what's going on.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Everything that whenever I write, everything I write ends it with a lingering sense that everything is cyclical. It's all going to come back again. So it may be over for now, but because I like to have that constant sense that this all could happen again.
Yeah, it's
I do have to
inevitability
ask,
if nothing
is
else.
there a chance in the world that Nerdyverse of Madness podcast returns? Or are you
I
pretty much
think
moved on
so.
from
I think so. I feel like I've kind of moved on. I mean, I was doing it, and then we had the baby, and I just didn't have the time anymore.
Yeah.
And I started to get really overwhelmed because I was kind of editing and everything a week at a time. I would really like to um, sit down for like a few hours and kind of batch record a couple episodes, because then if I do interviews, I can just kind of squeeze them in. I do really kind of want to start something where I talk to authors and readers and stuff like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with D&D at all, but Ed Greenwood once upon a time agreed to come on my podcast, and I would love to interview him. But we'll see. I think so. Yes, in some form or another.
Yeah. I will tell you the one thing that Dave and I absolutely did right is we recorded every week, every Saturday like this for 2 months before we released our first episode. So we had a backlog. We're always recording. Our interviews are in anytime we do an interview, I edit those week of, and they generally come out within 2 weeks. But our week to week episodes that is just Dave and us, Dave and myself having our conversations, those are
Yeah,
bashed out.
because
We're
life
usually
gets in the way.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
6 weeks ahead, and that means that if next week something comes up, I'm like, "Dave, I can't record this week." "Cool. Alright,
We
catch you
we
next week."
we both have day jobs. Josh
Yeah,
is a school teacher.
yeah,
I'm a construction superintendent. Like I never know. Like I
yeah,
could have a bad week. I'd be out of town on something. So it's nice to have that safety net.
Yeah, and I mean, now that he's 2, I'm starting to find a little more
a
time
little
to
bit of time.
be
Yeah,
creative, so
sure.
it's nice. I mean, but right now I'm kind of really focused on writing rather, and
Yeah.
I'm staying up late, and I'm kind of just writing when I can if I'm not passing out from
Yeah. Oh,
being
I
Right.
get it.
exhausted.
Because
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm trying to be a writer. I have a story that I'm working on right now, just a short I call it short, it's about 20,000 words, so I guess
Okay.
it's a baby novella. It's a long
Yeah, that would just breach into novella
yeah.
territory.
It's not q it's no longer a short story, but it's not quite a novella, but I'm working on it. Yeah, but it's all about finding that time, and sometimes that's hard to do.
It
But
really is, and something that really got me through doing it was just being extremely disciplined in writing something every day. In the 3 to 4 weeks where I wrote it, it's I just had to write something. Some days I literally only wrote 3 or 4 words. I didn't even finish a full sentence. I just had to make sure I put some
put words
words
on
on
yeah.
the paper, and then sometimes like 2,000 words would just flow out of me, and I'm kind of still doing that.
It's smart. Sometimes you back burner something or you kind of put it off to the side, then it's easy to find a new project or a new focus. I get that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, this story was a short little story that I wrote, and then I was like, I could explore this a little bit further. So that short story became the prologue to this one, and
Yeah,
I went a little further with it.
yeah. I have a lot of 3,000 word short stories out with no
Okay.
ending because because so Dave and
I have
I
I
have a very
I have a few dozen
right.
beginning of stories that I
Well,
only
so
got about,
Dave and I don't
a
know
1,000
how
words in.
this happened, but we both very much we picture a scene in our head, and that's our jumping off point. I see this one scene that I'm like, "That's really cool. I'm gonna write that." And I don't know where it's gonna go, and then it eventually goes somewhere, and then it just kinda peters off, and I go find some other story that I'm interested in. But I keep them all. They're all digital, so I can always go back to them. I'm like, "Ooh, this would have been really cool in that. What did I call that story? Let me go find it."
Right.
Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah, I actually have in my note apps on or my notepad app on my phone, I actually have like several notes that are just like 3 or 4 paragraphs long, maybe even a few sentences where I'm like, "Oh, this is a really cool piece of dialogue." I kinda compare it to like a guitarist who's just like jamming around and he
sure.
Finds
comes
a
up with
riff.
like a cool little
Yeah.
riff and he just
Yeah,
keeps it in
yeah.
his back pocket until, "Hey, that'll fit somewhere one day."
Dave was playing
Yeah.
with a riff before you came on today.
That's true.
He really was. He really was. All right.
Nice.
So
Welcome to the hot seat.
we are not I do that for Dave's benefit, not for anyone else's, because the sound of it we are not a sound
I need
effect.
a hot seat. I need a hot seat. It feels like -35 outside
Oh,
today, so
yeah,
let's
that
warm it up.
is it's warming up
Crazy.
my what kind of
I
what's
feel
the what
so spoiled.
yeah.
I'm in California, and it was, I think, 72 yesterday, and it's probably 74 today. Sorry,
Right.
Okay.
man.
That's
I
great.
know that sucks, but,
Well,
I don't
so
know.
it's not
We also
quite
have
that.
wildfires all the time.
Yeah, it's not quite that here, but it is in the mid 50s for me today, which for me, a very warm-blooded human, is a nice day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I was
it
supposed to be born on an island somewhere, but
somehow it ended up in Canada.
yeah, I don't know.
I love
But
it.
the spiders don't grow the size of my face, so there's always that.
Yeah, there is that. That's see that way to look at the silver lining. I like it.
I
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
Hot seat questions. First up, creepiest horror movie villain, Chucky, Annabelle, or Slappy?
Slappy.
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 Yeah, I
Chucky's
thought you were
hilarious, and I haven't watched enough of Annabelle, though I did love Annabelle Comes Home. I thought that movie was fantastic. I'm not as in the Conjuring universe as I should be.
okay. Uh, I am not the biggest Conjuring fan. I love the original, so I was really excited, and for me,
Yeah.
it's a downhill from there. But that's just me. I know a lot of people love them. Didn't work for me after the
Yeah,
I
first
that's
like
the
the
season,
I like
maybe.
the first few.
Yeah.
They just
I
made too
watched the
many.
first one. I don't think I've seen any other ones except Annabelle Comes Home, which felt like a really dark Goosebumps
Yeah.
episode, actually, and
Yeah, I
I'm
think
surprised it was more than PG-13.
yeah,
Right.
the Conjuring offshoots, I think, are better than Conjuring 3 and 4, whatever those were called. I can't remember. The Devil Made Me Do It and whatever this most recent
Yeah.
Yeah.
one is.
Something like that.
It's a shame too because I really like Vera
Vera
Farmiga.
Farmiga is amazing. Yeah,
Yeah, there we go.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
love
she's
everybody
great.
involved. I think the
Yeah.
stories just got for me, the stories got too dense. So
Mhm.
they bordered on boring, and that doesn't work well in this kind of story for me. A lot of people love them, so keep loving them. All right, you have to spend a night in a haunted house. What 3 items are you bringing with you?
A good book, a blanket, and, an extra large pizza.
I love so he's gonna have a party in the haunted house.
I
I appreciate
I
that.
like that you're in a freaky, scary haunted house, and you're like, "I'm just gonna sit down and read a book nice and
And
quietly."
eat some pizza.
I mean,
It's good.
I'm
That's
not
an honest answer.
I love
I'm
it.
not opposed to the paranormal. I don't necessarily say I believe in ghosts, but for me to not really believe in ghosts, I don't think I'd bring, I don't know, a crucifix or holy water or anything. If I'm going to be staying in there, I might
Have
as well
something to do.
enjoy my
Yeah.
time, have a full belly, and be warm because it'll probably get a little drafty.
Yeah,
Very
I love
true.
it. I love it.
Good answer.
All right. Favorite horror subgenre, psychological, body, or cosmic?
Ooh, psychological.
Psychological. Me too. Me too.
Can you
I can
explain
hand
what is cosmic? Can you explain cosmic horror? What is that?
I don't really know how to explain it other than that's
it's
pretty much what Lovecraft
yeah, I was
created.
gonna say anything
Okay.
H.P. Lovecraft did, all of that, the
It's not a question. I
eldritch
just said
stuff. Yeah, it's
I'm further away from
the
that genre than you
but
guys are. So
I can
There's a
handle
lot
body
of
horror.
stuff. Yeah.
I can handle body horror as long as it's not the eyeball, but psychological is my
Okay.
favorite. I like what's going on inside the human brain.
Yes,
All
I
right.
do too.
What is one classic horror trope that you secretly love and never get tired?
The Final Girl.
Me too.
yeah,
I was thinking the same
Yeah.
thing.
I think it's great. I honestly, it's very tropey. It's used so much, but I mean, when you watch a movie and you're like, that chick was
Oh, yeah.
badass. She
Oh, yeah.
deserved
She's
everything.
got
Like,
it. Yeah,
it's great.
for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're writing a spiritual sequel to The Dummy, but instead of a dummy, this time, what possessed object from pop culture are you choosing?
Oh, what? I mean, a dummy is just kind of the easy pop culture. Uh, Nicholas Cage's copy of Action 1 comic books.
Oh, all right. His the original Superman comic.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
all
that got
right.
stolen and got returned back to him.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I could think of
Yeah.
from, like,
For
pop
me,
culture, and it
I would be in the Evil Dead universe, and I'd have a possessed copy of the Necronomicon.
I thought about maybe dropping the book, but, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
No, I
that's a
like
good
the
choice,
idea
though, for
of a
sure.
possessed comic book. All
Yeah.
right, if you could
Yeah.
collaborate with any horror director, alive or dead, who's your pick?
Wes Craven.
Yeah.
What
Which,
absolutely. I mean,
spoiler
Carpenter
alert, we'll
would be
talk about
fun.
that more in a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually just read a book, I have it right here too, called Your Favorite Scary Movie by Ashley Collins about
Yeah.
the Scream franchise. And there's quite a few chapters about Wes Craven. And as I was reading it, I was like, I feel like I would be best friends with this guy. It's just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
such a nice dude. I mean, in Hollywood, it was very unheard of for directors to continuously have a crew come along with
Come
them
with
movie
them.
to movie to movie. And the same
Mhm.
people worked with Wes Craven for
Yeah.
over a decade, which is nothing but a testament to how
To
he
him,
runs
yeah.
his sets. Yeah.
Yep. That's awesome.
Unlike
Right.
John Carpenter, who seems really grumpy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Genius, but
if
little
I had been
grumpy.
asked who was the thing that many times throughout my life, I might be a little grumpy too.
That's true.
Yeah, I still think it was McCready, but that's just me.
Nah, it was Childs. Let's move on.
Now, worst horror adaptation of a great book, because you're a reader, I see. So you read the book, great book, got up on screen. It's just
the Tim Curry TV movie of It. I would say that. I know so many people who were terrified of that as a kid. I was 17 when I finished reading the book, and I immediately watched that movie right after, and
yeah,
I was so disappointed. And it probably had to do with the fact that I had built it up over the years for this big scary thing, and I had just finished reading this book that I thought was like phenomenal and blew me away.
Yeah.
However, I have a lot of negative to say, but Tim Curry did a phenomenal job as Pennywise.
I get
for sure.
that.
Right.
And I
It was
think
made for TV, right? Like, I
Yeah.
think that affects a
Yeah.
lot of what
and
they're trying
and
to keep
there's-
very universal appeal.
Yeah, and there's something there. You mentioned earlier nostalgia being a big thing, and so for Gen X and older millennials, that movie, because it came out in the late 80s. Dave and I were like 9, 10 years old when it came out, so it's foundational for a lot of people. And I think that's why it's built up because of the nostalgia, not necessarily because it was particularly well done. I think
Yeah,
that's my
had I
opinion.
seen it when I was like 6, 7, 8 years old, I'd probably have a different opinion of it. I
Yeah,
think it would have scared the
yeah.
living
I don't
I
know.
know
shit
it
out of
I
me, but
also, even as a young guy, I didn't like it that much. It
yeah.
had
No,
moments,
it
but a lot of my
yes,
friends stuff really
it
liked it.
is not
I felt the
it
same way
my
about The
wife
Stand. They made TV version
right.
of that.
Yeah.
oh,
And it
right.
was
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
yeah,
My
just
wife
not.
was epically afraid of it, but it's not something I was ever that afraid of. I loved the teeth, the toothy mouth, and the way that Tim Curry does it, but the movie itself
Yeah,
never really did anything for me.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
so I
John
totally
Ritter's
get
good.
your answer. It's a great answer. All right, so
And they don't
you
really explain it either. You
yeah,
just get this
no.
turtle shell floating through the sides.
So it's many years from now, you have passed on, but you have to come back as a haunted something. Are you a ghost, a demon, or a cursed AI?
Um, I think I'd go demon. Um, I don't know though how long into the future that we're talking about. So maybe not being cursed AI would be kind of detrimental to me because everyone's going to be plugged into to VR. It's going to be like the Matrix. I can imagine trying to corrupt someone as a demon if everyone was hooked up like the Matrix. But I mean, it sounds fun and it's
Yeah,
warm there too.
and it's warmer there. Yeah, have you thought about leaving Canada? Because obviously you don't like the cold.
Uh, I have. I mean, I have said that if like 50,000 people bought my book, I could probably at
Afford
least
to do
spend
it.
half of the year in Jamaica or something. So,
Right. All right. And write
uh,
your
All
next
right, so
one.
you
Yeah.
have
no,
you have an end game.
I do like it here. I do like Canada. It's great in the
Yes.
summer. I mean,
Yeah.
I do. It's a beautiful country. I mean, it's a beautiful continent that we live in, but
Yes.
Canada's fun. That's fun.
That's awesome. So, what is your ultimate comfort horror? It can be movie or book, but it's the one you revisit the most.
It's probably Scream, but maybe also Halloween. I pretty much watch them both at least once a year around Halloween time. Um, I think they're both the epitome of a perfect movie for sure.
Awesome. All right. Last question. Finish the sentence. The scariest thing about writing horror is
Writing a personalization when you sign the front page for somebody.
Really?
yeah. So,
I never know
yeah.
what to write. I've
Yeah.
signed about like 7, 8 of them at this point, and I just stare at it like, are they going to get any of my jokes if I make them? So I just
Yeah.
kind of
I
come up
love it.
with a couple sentences. I mean, the only one that I had was easy was for an old coworker who worked at a call center that I used to work at. That was terrible, but I would say
Yeah.
that for sure.
That's
Hey,
hilarious.
picture them showing it to friends later, like, I don't know what the hell he was talking about, but this is what he wrote in the book.
But he wrote it.
And they're like, what
So,
a weird sentence.
yeah, I recently had my first short story ever published, and I sent a copy of the
Okay.
book to Dave, but I purposely did not sign it because I have no freaking clue what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
But I plan to
I
see
noticed
Dave.
that. I've only known you for 30 years, but no
No,
big
so
deal. I'm sure you couldn't
no,
come up
hey,
with something
no,
to write in the book for
no, hey,
me.
hey, can I finish my story? Jeez, can I finish?
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
plan on
Just
I'm
kidding
gonna
with you.
see Dave in about a month and a half. We live about 10 hours apart. He lives in California, I live in
Okay.
Idaho, so we are not right next door or anything. I plan on seeing him for spring break because I'm taking my youngest daughter down to go tour a college. And when I'm
Okay.
there, I will personally sign it there in person, make it more real instead of signing it and
See,
throwing it in the mail.
so Johnny, you just need like 3 months of prep for each one of those that you're
That's
going to
it.
sign. So
That's
you can
Yeah.
think about
exactly
it
it.
like he's
I'm gonna have
doing.
prep time.
Just say, just
Whenever
come back in 90 days.
Yeah. Whenever anyone asks me to sign it, I'm always like, you want a personalization or would you like me to just sign it? Because maybe one day it'll be worth money and it's harder to sell collectibles with personalized
Personalized.
signature. No one, no, everyone's like, oh, I'm not going to sell it. I'm like, well, thanks for believing it's going to be collectible one day.
Yeah.
Jesus.
They just laugh when you say
my
that.
response is I'm never going to sell it, but go ahead and sign it however you want because my kids might want to sell it someday. It means too much to
Yeah.
me, but it's got nothing for them. All right. Yeah, so that is our silly hot seat. The
Guest request.
the next
Ooh,
part is
okay.
to me, it's just really funny to see Dave's look of sheer disappointment every time. But it is time for the guest request. Every time, generally, when we do these interviews, we like to have our guest recommend any movie that they would like to talk about. This is twofold. It gives you something to come on that you know and love and want to talk about. And it makes Dave and I generally watch something that we maybe haven't thought about in a long time or have never seen. So, Johnny, what did you tell us to watch?
Scream,
The
Yeah.
original from 96.
1996.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
So before we jump into the movie, go ahead, Dave.
I was just going to say, I'll preempt this, I always tend to have some sort of preempting of everything. Didn't watch the movie in 96. I didn't watch the movie till 10 years later. Not that I had anything against it. I was just whatever. Really liked it. And I really haven't seen it since until now. So thank you for
Yes.
putting it in front of me again. It's a great movie. I'll just
Did
say
you
all
watch
those
it
things.
before or after seeing Scary Movie the first time you watched
I
it?
watched it after, very much after. So every reference point is just a serious version of a Scary Movie. Do you know? Like
Yeah,
everything.
I always watch it without my wife because every time we're watching it, she's snickering because she
Yeah.
watched Scary Movie first. Get
Especially
out
with
of here.
David
Get out
Arquette.
of
I can't even see him on screen in that movie without laughing. But
Because
okay, I
you,
didn't mean to
you
interrupt
picture
everything.
the doofus guy from Scary Movie.
That's
Yeah.
how I think of it. That's how I know it.
And the same thing for me. I actually did watch this movie in the theater. I went to
Ooh, nice.
actually I'm Dave may have sold me the ticket. I don't know because I wouldn't remember that
It's
because
possible.
there was
did work
this
in a movie
big.
theater.
We had this theater that looked like a giant watermelon. It was the Medford Four Cinemas where Dave used to work, and that's where I saw this movie all in
With Rainey.
1996. I saw Scream then. I watched
You know those
it.
early jobs you have in your teenage years, like video, or those jobs you have when you're a teenager and you kind of look back fondly? Those are those jobs. Movie
Yes.
theater, video store, like, man.
Absolutely.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I watched it in the theater. I watched it again when Scream 2 came out. I watched it again when Scream 3 came out and have not watched it since. So it's been 25 years or something since I watched it, which was awesome because I was really happy with how it held up for me. That being said, tell us about your journey with Scream.
Well, as I mentioned earlier on in the episode, when I was younger, I got easily scared. And in the 4th grade, I was being Ghostface for Halloween. I thought the mask looked cool, and
Okay.
I had never seen it, probably around 98, so it'd been out for a couple of years, and I begged my dad, I'm like, Can we watch this, please?" And he's like, "I don't know, I don't think you're ready, like, I don't know," but I begged, and I begged, and then there was a night where my mom was going out. We went to Blockbuster and rented it, and we put it on. Not even 10 minutes into the movie, Drew Barrymore's on the phone, and
Yeah.
Roger Jackson's like, "I wanna know who I'm looking at." And right there, I was like, "Oh, shit. I am not gonna feel good for a
No.
really good time." But I had begged my dad for so long to let me
Yeah.
watch it that I didn't say that I was absolutely petrified, and I think I slept on the couch for, like, a week.
Did they know you were scared of the intro for Goosebumps and then you go for full Wes Craven action? Just curious.
They definitely did, but my dad was always kind of a little more liberal with the things he'd let me watch
Yeah.
because my
Oh,
mom
yeah,
would
yeah.
go out for karaoke and stuff. I was watching, and I watched Alien when I was young, and that didn't really freak me out. I was watching The Terminator really
Yeah.
young, so I was definitely used to watching stuff that was a little more mature, and my dad has always found slasher movies to be really funny, so I don't know if he
Okay.
really kind of correlated that maybe this would freak me out,
Okay.
but that atmosphere has always stuck with me, and I just think it's a phenomenal film. It's my favorite horror franchise. I think all of them in some way, shape, or form are good, but that first one is just not a wasted second.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Bella and I are both latchkey kids from the 80s, so
Yeah.
we were also exposed to things
Very
probably
so
too young. Famously, I say I saw Hellraiser when I was really young, and it's kind of scarred me and messed me
Right.
up. Like that's the reason I am
Yeah.
person I am, good and bad. But anyways,
Good, yeah. Well,
it
yeah, so
happens.
you mentioned Blockbuster Video. When I was about 8 years old, 9 years old, the first Blockbuster in my town opened up. So this would have been 1987, 88, something like that. And it was walking distance from my house. So in the summer, my mom gave me my own Blockbuster card. I would walk or ride my bike to Blockbuster. Found out I actually told this story last week. Beetlejuice was the first movie that I ever rented. But after that, I found out that my
Nice.
mom didn't put any age restrictions on my card. So next thing you know, I'm renting every Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, Predator, Commando, Running Man. I'm renting them all. So yeah, violence from a young age for us. So
I
very
loved
similar.
Schwarzenegger growing up. I watched
Yeah.
all of them too. You mentioned
absolutely.
Commando. That was the first one that kind of popped in my head. I
Mhm.
lied. It's great.
Loved
Yeah.
the movie, and I loved Alyssa Milano. I grew up.
Well,
She
yeah.
was the crush I had
Yeah.
as a young kid. So yeah,
Sam
hit
Maselli
all the
on Who's
bells
the
for me.
Boss. Yep.
Exactly.
Anyway, so the movie Scream, you already mentioned how it opens up. It I had never seen anything like that before. Somebody as famous as Drew Barrymore, and she's literally in
She's
the movie
front
for
and center
10
on the original posters
Yes.
too, right? Like
Yes.
she is the most prominent. I think they obfuscated all of that stuff in the advertising, everything
Yeah.
else, right? That was the
It
whole
so Drew
idea,
Barrymore
is that
was the
people were
face.
blown away.
She was the face. She was billed as an above the title star of the movie. And
Yep.
then even faster
It
than
was
Janet Leigh in Psycho, she's gone.
it was actually her idea. So she was supposed to be the main character throughout the whole film.
Okay.
And she came up with the idea that, like, if you were to kill me off in the beginning of the movie, I feel that you would set a tone for the rest of the film that you really have no idea what's going on.
She's
And it
like, but
was,
you'll pay me the same. I'll just do less work.
But I'll make money.
yeah, I think yeah, she was supposed to be Sydney, and then there was kind of a last minute change for that.
Smart. It's a really clever device to get the audience involved.
Yeah, I love it. It's very quick, and it sets the tone that, like you said, no one is safe, but also it establishes that this is going to be a very meta, before we called it meta, but a very meta aware movie, that things from the real world are going to affect the story within this environment.
Yeah,
Which
they're
is great.
referencing all these horror movies that we
Mhm.
all know. Like
Yeah.
that's the best part of it.
Mhm.
That was the thing that drew me to it when I finally did get around to watching it.
Yeah.
Was I just wanted to see what they were going to do, how they were going to treat other things in that same genre, is if their universe existed the same as mine, which is not usually normal.
Yeah, and it was the first slasher movie I had, so I watched rather, so I kind of missed that whole commentary. I didn't really understand the whole rules aspect. So
Right.
rewatching it later on after I'd seen quite a few different slasher movies, I was like, wow, this is even better.
Yeah.
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 And
A
I
lot of
think
nods.
and that's what I noticed as well, being the first time I've watched it in 25 years. When I watched it in 1996, I knew Halloween. I knew that Mrs. Voorhees was the killer, but I didn't know all of the things that were
What?
going on.
Just kidding.
Spoiler alert, Dave. Spoiler alert. I didn't, but
And
there's
I'm sorry to interrupt. Let me
Yeah.
tell this out. So my wife Mel, she's kind of sometimes comes on the show. She had never seen Friday the 13th. She didn't watch any of those movies since she was a kid, but she knew Scream. She liked Scream. And so she'd watched it a few times, and she knew Scary Movie, all those things. But I finally got her to sit down and watch Friday the 13th. She's blown away. She's like, she's the killer? Like, where's the Jason guy with the hockey mask? And I asked her just now, because we just watched it together, said, you saw this many times, and they point this out in this movie.
didn't tell you,
How did
yeah.
you not remember that? She goes, oh, yeah, I guess they do. Which
It's
is
why Drew Barrymore dies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is why she does. Well,
Subvert.
actually, she was going to die anyways. Remember, because Billy Loomis tells us at the end, if you get it wrong, you die. If you get it right, you die. In his really
It
weird,
would have been
Skeet
another
Ulrich
question,
way.
or another question till.
Yeah, I don't like to badmouth things, but I did not like Skeet Ulrich.
No, I
as
thought he
Billy.
was personally.
He kind of grew on me. I
Yeah.
remember there was a movie I watched with my dad that he was in, and I don't know if it
Wing
was
Commander.
it might have been Wing Commander. I don't know, and I
don't know.
don't know if it was like so much him or me having. I found it really hard to kind of take
Yeah.
someone with the name Skeet seriously, um,
Yeah, there's that.
but he's grown on me.
Yeah.
I think he's meant to be a little weird in
Yeah.
that, and
Yeah.
I mean he's part of it. But I mean we all know that Matthew Lillard's the better killer.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
And that
I
one, that's
I
just it.
I think
Go
they
ahead.
were all good.
No, you're
I was saying I think they were all chewing the scenery a little bit. I think
Yes.
that was Wes Craven's intent, was to have them kind of overact a little bit, and the only people who aren't are like Cindy, like the only
Yeah.
people who are more restrained
Grounded.
and stuff like that. Everybody else is kind of out there, all the way from Henry Winkler to David Arquette, which I tell you, David Arquette it's hard to watch it with him. CGI should take him out and put pretty much anybody else in. But, I don't know. All I see is Doofy, and that just really messes me up.
I
I'm
do
sorry, I didn't mean to
love
interrupt. Go ahead.
Matthew Lillard in the movie. I love how over the top he is. I love his gangly, just wild mannerisms. He was, and I really feel bad for the real life stuff that messed with Rose McGowan, because I thought she was really wonderful as the best friend in this.
I thought
I
she
wish
was
that
great.
I hope that someday things come to a place where she's able to maybe make a comeback, because I really enjoyed her in this. The one thing that didn't hold up for me was Randy. I found him more annoying now than I did when I was younger. And that's fine. Maybe it's because I'm looking at it from the eyes of a grandfather, not a high school student anymore. Or just out of high school.
But you worked in video, and you were that obnoxious kid. You probably just don't see yourself in that character anymore.
I grew up.
That's,
Why didn't he?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Why is he still stuck in 1996?
But yeah,
Oh, exactly.
and that's just me. But I do love, you mentioned how like that it starts off with the death of Drew Barrymore, and that there's nothing, you can't trust anything. And this movie has every single character other than Sydney for at least a minute you think could be guilty. At least for a second, everybody that you meet could be the guilty party. And I really like how they do that. The red herrings are everywhere. And they even call out that we don't need a motive. If an unmotivated kill is scarier, it's darker. And I thought that was really cool.
But there's a little bit of a motive, right, with her mom.
Well,
But what
yeah,
I
it
think
ends
is,
up
I
being-
just picture
yeah.
the writer sitting there. I picture the writer sitting there, and he's writing. He's like, "Why would they?" And he goes, "Oh, fuck it. I'll just say, you don't need to have reason why," which is just an amazing cop out. But anyways, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just, it's the same way, because he does. Billy Loomis, Skeet, goes through this whole thing about why they don't need to have a motive, but then proceeds to give a motive.
Gives a motive.
But it follows but I do think that follows everything about this movie, that nothing is as it seems. So there is no motive.
Like,
but at the same time,
why does Michael Myers?
plenty of
Why does
motive.
Michael Myers kill? What is Michael Myers' motivation other than just lunacy? I mean, in the later movies, they try to find a bunch of reasons and stuff like that. But at least the first couple, it's really, there's no real motivation.
At
That's
least in the
creepier.
first one, because as soon as Halloween 2 comes out, you get, it's his sister. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
But I mean,
And
that's been
then-
retconned so many times that
Yeah. And that's the other thing is, so you mentioned that you like all the sequels. You like the whole franchise. Halloween, kind of, the franchise falls apart more times than it succeeds, I think. In this one, after the first, is there like an order of preference in the scary movies? Like, should I pick up from 4 and watch them all? Since I've only seen the first 3.
I would say so. I mean, at least give 4 a chance because it was Wes Craven's last movie, so you might as well
Yeah,
give that a shot.
absolutely.
I mean, not everybody agrees with me, but I do like 5 and 6. I actually my ranking, I actually rank them kind of higher than the Wes Cravens. And I'll respect any ranking of the movies as long
Yeah.
as number 1 is first and 3 is last, because 3 isn't that good. But
Well,
even then, so like when you look at the
three's the
franchise
reason I
as a
didn't watch
whole,
4.
if 3 is the worst, I mean, you're not doing too bad. I mean, it's
Right.
just it was an absolute mass production. Kevin Williamson was writing the script for it, and then it got pulled. His idea would have been a lot better. I know a lot of people are speculating that even though Matthew Lillard is in the upcoming 7, it's going to be a flashback or anything like that. I'm telling you, he's still alive. Calling it right here, right now, because the
TV
original
didn't kill
script
him?
for 3 no, so the original script for 3 was written by Kevin Williamson, and Stu was the killer. And then they pulled back because it involved him creating like almost a cult in the school, and they were killing people, and it was right after Columbine, so they pulled back. And then he got fired, so it was a bit of a mess. And there was 2 killers throughout the filming of the entire 3rd one, and then they just cut out Angelina at the end, so it was 1 killer. It made no sense, and you're like, wait, that he couldn't have been in all these places at once. And I think they went a little too meta. Like they have Jay and Silent Bob make an appearance in
Yeah.
it,
Yeah, I
and
remember.
then Carrie Fisher's in it, talking about how she lost the role for Star Wars for the girl who was willing to sleep with George Lucas. And I was like, okay, this is just
Yeah.
stupid for stupid's sake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But back to my rankings, I go 1, 5, 6, 4, 2, 3.
All right. Because I enjoyed
7
2.
too. You'll have to add that in there.
Yeah,
really soon.
7 at some point. Well, later this month, next month.
It's 2 months, a month away. Something like that?
The 27th, it comes out this month.
End of the month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because nothing says Valentine's
Yeah.
like Ghostface Killer.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, me and my wife are going open weekend for sure.
I love it. No, I saw the trailer.
Yeah, I mean,
was at
it's
the theater.
this.
I went to the theater earlier this week on Tuesday and saw a movie, and I saw the trailer for Scream 7, and it looks pretty cool. It's dark, and it's the trailer doesn't give anything away the way some trailers do. Yeah, I'm intrigued. I'll have to try to
I
watch
watched the first teaser. I watched the first teaser. I think another one has come out, but I like to go in as blind as I can for the most part, so I haven't watched any of the other ones. It's going to be interesting because it's being written and directed by Kevin Williamson,
Yeah.
who wrote the first 2 and wrote 4 as well. But he's also directing it, and I know Nev Campbell's going to have has a lot more say in the production of it as well. And they're kind of pulling back on the gore because 4 to 6 are a lot more gory than the first 3 were, for sure.
Right.
Especially 4.
Probably the trend of the Saw movies and things like that.
yeah, the
driving
era that
industry.
they came out.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
do like
I mean,
that,
I think 5 is really good.
Yeah.
Go
The
ahead.
younger cast in 5 and 6, they pay homage, or they do justice to what was set up in the original.
Yeah, it's just the whole meta aspect, because they're kind of touching. They call it a requel in it, so it's not exactly a sequel, but it's also not a reboot. They're kind of touching on the trends of the time, like Candyman, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where they're not really sequels, but they're not directly a reboot either.
Sure.
And I think they
Yeah.
do the meta aspect of that really, really well.
And I like Jenna Ortega, so they're worth giving them a
I
try.
love Jenna Ortega.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
she's great. She's
Yeah.
got a lot
Yeah.
of career in front of her.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, I think it's worth it. I mean, the creator of the franchise, who had very little to do with it, says that 6 is his second favorite in the entire franchise. So, I mean, his opinion should hold some weight.
To be honest, I saw the trailer, and I also know they're doing Scary Movie 6.
Yeah.
And in my head, I was complaining, and I said, "Oh, great, the trailer!" And I actually saw Scary Movie 7 is what I thought, and I thought, "Oh, they're fucking with us because they're just skipping 6 and just saying 7." and I'm watching it like, I don't know, 10 seconds in, I'm still waiting for the Wayans brothers to pop up. Again,
Yeah.
that's my frame of reference. But the trailer does look good.
Yeah, Scream 6 has the subway scene is by far one of my favorite scenes in the entire franchise. Even just basing it on that alone is totally worth watching it.
I'll definitely give him a go. I got no life. I'll watch anything. But I watched Scream 3. I didn't like it when it was over. I walked out of the theater and then never watched another one. So I'll have to skip that and just go straight to 4 and stick with the Kevin Williamson.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, 3 actually has one of my favorite openings, but after that, it just kinda
And I
Drops off.
love the opening,
it's a
and
mess. I can still enjoy it, but
I love Scream 2's opening. I love the idea
and
of stab, and because that was the next logical step in the meta world of Scream, that they were going to make a movie of what happened in Woodfield or whatever the name of the town was. Yeah. So
Woodsboro.
Yeah.
Woodsboro, thank you. I conflated Woodsboro and Haddonfield to Woodsfield. That's when Scary Movie, that's when the Ghostface and Michael Myers team up. That's where they go. All right, Johnny,
That'll
let
be the
us
next
know,
one.
let everybody know where to find you. If are you active on the socials and everything, where they can find you, and remind us all where to buy the book.
I am most active on Instagram, but I do have a Facebook page. I am on TikTok, but I really just repost anything I post on Instagram there for the most part. Um, I have a website, www.jonnyward.com, still kind of under construction, but Instagram for sure is the most active. You can find my book, The Dummy, anywhere you buy books. So Amazon's
Right.
the fastest. You can get it on ebook there. I have it up on Kindle Unlimited, so you can read it for free if you have the $10 subscription. Indigo, Barnes and Noble, and I'm working on getting it into stores, but they'd be more local here anyways.
Yeah, it's a great book. I wish I had finished it before we started this, but I know I will. It's the writing is great. Everything else, it flows really well. I was way into it.
Yeah, it is
So,
a very
great
quick,
job.
I
quick
appreciate
flowing
that.
story for sure. If I had 2 more days, I would have been done with it.
Yeah, I'd
Time
say
ran
like
out.
4 more hours.
Yeah,
Like,
time ran out.
but anyways, go ahead.
But with that, we're going to wrap things up today. This has been Couch Critics. If you find any value in what we do here, you laugh or you hate us, we don't care. Go wherever you're listening to this, leave us that 5-star rating, a review, tell us how we're doing. Dave, why do we like that?
Validation, my friend. Validation
That's it.
of some sort.
Of some sort. Just let us know that you're out there, you're listening. Check us out on the socials. It's at Couch Critics RRT on Instagram, Threads, YouTube, and TikTok. You can email us therealrealtalk@gmail.com. And follow us. Let us know what you'd like to hear about in the future. And go buy Johnny's book, The Dummy. You can if it's not in the store, ask them to order it for you. They'll be happy to do it. And Dave, how are we closing out today?
Thanks everybody for being here. Johnny, thanks for coming in. If come back
Thanks for
anytime,
having me.
future work. I'm very excited to finish the book and to see what's coming up for you in the next stuff. So it was Couch Critics. Watch what you love and love what you watch.
Because here at the Couch Critics, we're never yucking your yum. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks all.